Welcome to the Happy Hormones Coach podcast, your go-to source for all things women's health. I'm here to guide you through the ups and downs of hormonal changes, helping you understand how these shifts impact every aspect of your life. So whether you're in the perimenopause phase or really any other phase of life, looking to improve your overall well-being, or just seeking practical tips on stress management, nutrition, and fitness, then this podcast is for you. Join me as we explore holistic and functional approaches to health, share expert insights from guests, and empower you to feel your best at every stage of life. Before we dive into today's episode, I want to remind you that the information shared in this podcast is for educational purposes only and is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any medical condition. Always consult with your healthcare provider before making any changes to your health regimen. Hey, Hormone Hotties, welcome back to the Happy Hormones Coach podcast. I'm Jennifer, your host. Today we're talking about something that I know is near and dear to many of you, emotional health hacks for women with jam-packed schedules. Yep, we're getting real about how to manage stress, protect your peace, stay grounded, even when life is throwing a million things your way. If your to-do list feels like a mile long, or you're just tired of always feeling like running on empty, then I hope this episode is for you. I'll share some of my favorite emotional hacks, practical tips, and a few stories to help you see how doable it really is to take care of your emotional well-being, no matter how busy life gets. So grab your coffee or tea, take a deep breath, and let's dive in. Let's start with the reality check. We've all been there, balancing work, family, relationships, and trying to take care of ourselves in the middle of it all. But here's the thing, ladies. If you're not taking care of your emotional health, it's like running on fumes. You might be able to push through for a while, but eventually things catch up. The stress, the overwhelm, the burnout, it's all waiting for you if you're not actively managing your emotional health. I remember a time when I was juggling multiple things, my business, my family, my dogs, because yes, Jasper still needs to go out 5 times a day, and all the little life things that seem to pile up. I kept telling myself, I just need to get through this week over and over. But then one day, I came home from a client call, and I was just done. I sat on the couch, stared at the wall for what felt like forever, and realized I hadn't done a single thing that week to check in with myself. Does that sound familiar? And that's when I knew something had to change. You see, emotional health isn't something you just push aside until things calm down. You need simple, easy ways to stay connected to yourself even on the busiest days. And guess what? It's totally possible. Let's kick things off with one of my favorite hacks. It's called the pause and breathe technique. It's as simple as it sounds. It's again where I go back to resets, those mini resets throughout the day for your nervous system. Sometimes we think that taking care of our emotional health requires long meditation sessions or expensive therapy appointments, but really all it takes is pausing for a moment and focusing on your breath. Next time you feel stress creeping in, or even if you don't, just, every couple hours, stop whatever you're doing, seriously, even if it's just for like 10, 15, or 30 seconds, and take a few slow, deep breaths. Inhale for a count of 4, hold for 4, and exhale for 4. Repeat that for as often as you need, and you'll be surprised how quickly it really does help you to reset. When you breathe deeply, you're sending a signal to your nervous system that it's okay to relax. It's a quick and easy way to calm down those stress hormones that are wreaking havoc on your mood and energy. And I had a client, let's say her name was Sarah, a busy professional and a mother who was always feeling overwhelmed. We started small with this very technique. She found that just by taking a minute to pause and breathe during her hectic workday, she could keep herself from getting to that place of complete overwhelm and exhaustion at the end of the day, and not to mention reaching for those junk foods around 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It's a small thing, but it does make a big impact. And here's another hack that fits into even the busiest of schedules, practicing gratitude. But we're keeping it super simple with what I like to call the 3 gratitudes shift. And at the end of the day, think of 3 things you're grateful for. That's it. That's all you have to do. You don't have to write them down or make a big deal out of it. Just take a moment before bed to reflect on 3 things that went right, no matter how small it may seem. Gratitude is one of the quickest ways to shift your mindset. And when you're constantly running around, it's easy to focus on what went wrong or what's stressing you out. But by intentionally focusing on gratitude, even for a minute, you're training your brain to see the good, which has a powerful effect on your emotional and mental health. A few years ago, when I was deep in the middle of a stressful business launch for my Simply Feeling Good Period program, I decided to start doing this gratitude practice. Some days I was so tired I could barely think, but even on those days, I'd come up with little things that I'm grateful for, like I'm just grateful for this blanket that I'm laying with right now, or I'm grateful I had 5 minutes to drink my tea in peace. It wasn't about the big stuff, but over time, I realized my mood was improving, and it helped make me feel more grounded, even when everything seemed chaotic around me. So let's talk about those boundaries, ladies. Boundaries are not just about saying no to things, they're about protecting your emotional energy. If you're constantly saying yes to things that drain you, or you're letting other people's stress and drama affect you, it's going to show up in your emotional health. So start by identifying the areas in your life where you feel most drained. And you can do this with a thing called the Wheel of Life exercise that I do with my clients, and there's a handout for it as well. And so you can start to think, is it work, family, social obligations? Once you know where the energy leaks are happening, practice saying no or setting limits in those areas. Also take an inventory of what areas in your life, all of the areas, that need to be nourished and cared for. And this doesn't mean you have to be harsh or distant, but it's about protecting your peace. And when you set clear boundaries, you're telling yourself and others that your emotional health is a priority. And trust me, the more you do this, the easier it becomes. You can't show up as your best self if you're constantly running on empty. So protecting your emotional energy is key. And I worked with a client who's constantly saying yes to every single work project, social event, family gathering, even when she felt exhausted. And together we worked on identifying her non-negotiables, the things that were essential for her emotional well-being, like whether it's quiet mornings or time for exercise, even like 10 to 15 minutes or 5 minutes even. And once she started setting boundaries around those things, she did feel lighter, more energized, and here's the big thing, she actually felt happier and more joy. And so the next hack is one of my favorites because it's so simple but effective, the 5-minute joy break. It's exactly what it sounds like. Take 5 minutes each day to do something that makes you feel genuinely happy. It does not have to be a big production. Maybe it's dancing to your favorite song while doing dishes or cooking or just dancing. Taking a walk, flipping through a magazine or a book. I love reading a good book. The key is just to do something for you. So often we get caught up in doing things for others or checking off items on our to-do list or calendar that we forget to do something that actually brings us joy each day or a few times each week. So by carving out just 5 minutes for yourself, you're sending a message to your brain and to your heart and your mood that your happiness matters too. And a friend of mine who is a super busy mom of 3 started doing this. Her go-to joy break, it was putting on her favorite song and having a mini dance party in her kitchen. I personally do that myself. It's simple, but she told me it's the best 5 minutes every day. She feels more energized and centered, and it makes her laugh, which, let's be honest, we all need more of laughing. And she even got her kids involved. How great and awesome is that? So before we dive into the last hack, I want to take a quick pause and invite you to join my community of like-minded women. It's small, it's a seed right now, but it is growing if you want a community off of social media. If you're loving these hacks and want more tips, support, encouragement, and recipes and more, come hang out with me over there in the Happy Hormone Circle community, a space where busy women like you can share ideas, get advice, find accountability on this journey to everything health. I'll drop the link in the show notes, so don't forget to check it out after this episode. Now, finally, I want to share something that can set the tone for your entire day: the mindful morning ritual. Now, I know mornings can be chaotic, but this ritual doesn't have to be long or complicated. It's about starting your day with intention, even if you only have 5 minutes. Before you jump into the hustle of your day, take a few minutes to center yourself. This could be as simple as sitting in silence with your tea or coffee if you're a coffee drinker, reading an inspiring quote, doing a stretch. Most of all, really important, I suggest getting first morning sunlight to start your day each and every day. If you cannot get outside and ground yourself, then sit by a window with that natural sunlight coming in before hopping on to any blue light or artificial light. That's what I do recommend. But the key is to start your day on your terms, instead of letting the day or your phone or your calendar dictate your mood and energy. So when you start your day with intention, you're less likely to get thrown off course by stress, overwhelm, or, let's be honest, other people's demands. You're grounding yourself emotionally, which makes a huge difference in how the rest of your day unfolds. And for me, my morning ritual is sacred. Now it's just like part of a habit I've built. It's just what I do. It's like brushing my teeth. So I do get up early. I just sit there for a few minutes, no distraction, no phones, just me and my thoughts, getting some fresh morning sun, walk the dogs, reading, doing my Bible studies, things like that. It's a small thing, but it does help me feel grounded and ready to take on whatever the day throws at me. And trust me, with everything going on in midlife and being a professional, that little bit of peace in the morning can be everything. So there you have it. 5 emotional health hacks that you can fit into even the busiest schedule, from breathing techniques to gratitude, boundaries, and joy breaks, which I love. Those are my favorite. These small but powerful tools can help you protect your peace and feel more grounded no matter how hectic life gets. So ladies, your emotional health is just as important as your physical health and mental health. Take these tips, try them out, and see how they can make a difference in your life or which one you love the most. And if you loved today's episode, don't forget to check out the Happy Hormone Circle community for more tips or follow me on social. And thank you so much for tuning in. I can't wait to hear how these hacks work for you. Please feel free to share your thoughts on social media, tag me, and let's keep the conversation going. Until next time, take care of yourself and keep those hormones happy. Thank you for tuning in to the Happy Hormones Coach podcast. I hope you found today's episode insightful and empowering. Remember, taking charge of your health is a journey, and I'm here to support you every step of the way. If you enjoyed this episode or any of the other episodes, please be sure to share, subscribe, rate, and leave a review. It does help me to reach more women like you who are striving for optimal health and happiness. And don't forget to follow me on social media for daily tips and inspiration. Until next time, stay healthy, stay happy, and keep thriving.